Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, and good Saturday morning to all you folks here in Memphis on AM 90, 790 and 92.9 HD FM from 9 to 10:30. And, of course, you folks in Brownsville on 1520 AM and 95.3 FM. And, of course, Jackson, Tennessee, News Talk 101.5, and we're rolling along right now and on this special Christmas show. And we got Shelby McCall is going to give us a little Christmas music here. Do it, Shelby.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Yeah. Being an old trumpet player myself, 13 years I played the trumpet in the University of Arkansas band. And
they probably want you back.
No, they don't. After I left the band because it became too much, and I became a journalist instead, and got to interviews Frank Broyles and Johnny Majors and all those great coaches at Arkansas. When I decided to go into journalism, I gave up the band. But they retired my uniform. I was so overwhelmed by that, and then I found out that they bought new ones the following year. So they didn't retire it. But anyway, thank you, Shelby. We're gonna talk a little bit now. David Beal, you're being the whippersnapper guest here. Yeah, and I know you've got some Christmas memories. And I know it was your uncle or somebody. Talk about the fishing part of this and what Christmas means to you, David.
Yeah. First of all, I want to let everybody know that real quick, this guy that's sitting beside me right here, this is a wonderful guy, just so everybody know.
Yes.
When I first met him, we actually met in a business deal, actually. And I chased this man for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this man's a busy man, and I actually chased this man for a long time. And finally, it took his neighbor to get him to say something to me. But when he said something to me that day, we've been friends ever since, and that's been more than 20 years.
That's a long time
yeah, it's been a long, long time ago.
Well,
so he still looked the same.
Yes, he does.
He's blessed. I can tell you that.
Yes, he is.
Now, Larry said something about my uncles. Yeah, oof. So I grew up in backwoods. My uncles are from Greenwood, Mississippi.
Yeah.
And those guys like to fish with cane poles, Ron.
Yes.
You know, like y'all back in the day.
Yeah.
And so, but, I was a little spoiled little kid who wanted to throw the little 202 and the 404, of course.
Yeah.
And
Did you graduate to a 33?
They wouldn't let me touch their 33s. They wouldn't let me touch them. Of course, back then, that was y'all real, the 33, and they wouldn't let me touch them.
33, yes.
And so they made me fish with my little 202 on the bank, so they put me out the boat run.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to cast and they wanted to fish with their fly rods. And that's how much I loved bass fishing.
Yeah.
And the double ugly. Hog rustler, you made that bait, and I was fishing with it then, Ron, when I was a kid. And it was one of my favorite baits.
That's been a while.
It's been
Carl Graham's group.
35 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's see, back in the early 1980s.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's about right, because that's when I was, about 35 years ago.
Yeah, but you took that love and at Christmas, I'm assuming you wanted a fishing lure or something. For Christmas, were you able to, growing up, progress yourself? You got memories of fishing as a kid like that?
Yes, absolutely. So I remember vividly when I was younger, around those times, all I wanted was a fishing rod. That's all I wanted. I didn't want no toys. I didn't want no clothes.
Yes.
I didn't want no big wheel.
No big wheel.
I know you ain't heard big wheel in a long time, but
yeah,
I didn't want a big wheel. I wanted a fishing rod, and that's all I wanted. And I wanted a spinnerbait, in particular a hog rustler, because that's what That's what the spinnerbaits back then.
And it was local, too.
Yes, absolutely.
You were buying local at that time.
And so those are the memories I had. And my uncles, they thought that I would never be married or anything because all I wanted to do was fish and hunt, and I didn't want no girlfriend. Now I'm married, 3 kids, 25 years in.
Yeah, your fishing time, doesn't it?
Yeah, that
Cuts
does.
into your fishing time now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
But-
family.
But he got the nickname Hillbilly, and I know we've talked about that before. You know, I grew up in Arkansas. Of course, I went to school in the Ozarks, so we were all hillbillies. They didn't think any of us wore shoes for a long time. My wife, of course, is a country girl. She has 23 in her graduating class. I had 23 in my homeroom where I was in high school. But Hillbilly was that story is real quickly. Tell us that.
Yes. So the way I got the nickname Hillbilly, when I was younger, my body didn't catch up with my feet
Oh.
until a little while later on.
Yeah.
Mr. Buck, they didn't catch up with my feet. So one day, one of my uncles grabbed me and he held me upside down. You know, back then your uncles would pick you up like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
by
yeah.
your arms or by your legs. And he had me upside down and he looked. He grabbed my feet. He said, "My goodness, look at the heels on this boy's feet." and he said, "From now on, your nickname is Hillbilly."
It's
And
Hillbilly.
that's why I got the nickname. My heels was longer than the front part of my foot.
And so what size foot do you have over there,
But
Dave?
believe it or not, I only have a 10.5 size foot.
But you had a 10.5 when you were little, too. I guess.
It only takes Larry to do that.
yeah, let me do that and everything.
Yeah.
And of course, Buck, with what he does for us and what he has done, the story, Buck, is that you used to give away those wood duck whistles, right?
You bet.
But you charged people.
I would, when the kids would come to a show, I have a big pile of them,
Yeah.
and I'd just hand them out to kids
Yes.
and teach them how to bowl them.
Yeah.
And then what would happen is, parents say they can't afford them. You know, we can't. I go, no, they're free.
Yeah. Free. Yeah.
No charge.
Yeah.
And they, oh, that's great. And they start to bowl on them. And I say, now, wait a minute. If you come back in a little while and you want me to take them away from them because they're driving you crazy,
Yeah.
we charge $20 a piece to take them away from them.
Because if you know a wood duck whistle is you can hear it a long ways. Do you have that with you
I
there?
have one.
All right. Can you imagine that going throughout the Bass Pro, blowing those things?
The kids will blow them.
Yeah.
As they could.
All right, Buck. Tradition on Outdoors with Larry Ray at Christmas time is for you to play the world famous Jingle Bells, and I know you've done it so many times over the years. I expected you to record that someday on the Buck label.
Yeah.
You know, but can you do that for us now? You get your teeth out.
I'm going to try.
You're going to try. All right, you got your teeth out now. All
I
right,
do.
there we go. All right,
One, two,
you can practice.
That's about all I got.
There you go.
We got to take
yeah.
that recording. I'm going to send it to our buddy John Godwin there of Duck Commander.
Yeah, you send that to that's Buck, and I know the memories just flow from hunts and things like that, and I know they do for me because you can go to LarryRay.com. I just wrote a story about killing my first deer 50 years ago this past month in December, and I had a chance to go back to my old deer place and see my old stand where I shot that 3-point out, and I thought it was the biggest deer I'd ever seen in my life. Yeah. And of course, no one hunts out of that stand anymore. It looks kind of like me now, but the memories.
You posted a picture of that.
I posted a
media.
picture of me. It's on the website.
Yeah,
and,
that's cool.
And it just came from my heart, which a lot of it does. And I know, David, I'm going to get to know you well, but these two other guys, David, have meant such an important part of my life in my many years of 23 years on the radio.
Yeah, I took you duck hunting the first time you went.
You did, yeah.
In your tennis shoes.
In my tennis shoes.
Yeah.
And you spoiled me, Buck.
Yeah,
you spoiled me that.
Hey, I've got a story if we've got time.
Yeah.
Where I got my name.
Yeah?
when I was real growing up, my dad had a construction business over in Arkansas.
Yeah.
And he would come home at night. I'd sit on his foot and put my arms around his leg.
Uh-huh.
He would swing me back and forth around,
Uh-huh.
And I'd always been called Floyd.
Yeah.
And his daddy said, boy, Arts, my daddy's name, he said, that boy cleans your boot like buckshot mud.
Buckshot mud.
And I was buckshot until I met Marlene.
Yeah.
We got married, and she said, buckshot is really bad redneck.
So you switched the name.
She said, we're going to change your name to just Buck. And,
Well, I'm glad
And it's stuck.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
And
glad.
it's stuck.
I'm glad she didn't change your name to Shot. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right. Now, that would be bad.
That would be
You know, I
Shot.
gotta
Yeah.
tell you something. I
Yeah.
gotta tell you guys something.
What?
You know, it's
Tell us.
Christmas time, and
2 minutes.
I can, growing up,
Yeah.
I grew up in the Delta, the
Yes.
California Delta,
Right.
around the Sacramento and San Joaquin River.
Yes.
And I learned to fish out there.
Yeah.
That's why, and I started learning bass fishing. Well, as a typical kid back in the 50s there, what did you get for Christmas every year? Socks, underwear, and T-shirts,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's what we got,
When
right?
you got old, you got a necktie.
That's right. And,
Whoa.
well, I guess it was about 1955, 56. My daddy bought me a Fred Arbogast Hawaiian Wiggler number 1.5, and I have to tell you, I wish I still had it. But
Oh, yeah.
that thing
Yeah.
caught me so many fish.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And the way he taught me to fish with a bait casting reel,
Yeah.
I didn't throw it up in the bushes or anything.
Yeah.
And that fish caught a lot of fish back in the days.
Don't you wish you still had?
Fred Arbogast Hawaiian Wiggler.
Wow.
You remember that?
I
Bob?
remember it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Who remembers that?
I remember one.
And the next year, I got a Shannon twin spin.
Shannon twin span. Well, Buck, I got to ask you real quick. We got
What?
to take a break. Your first duck call. When did you get your first? How old were you when you got your first duck call?
Well, my dad bought me a duck call when I was 5 years old.
5 years old.
And they used to tell me they had a little cabin, and they would play cards,
Yeah.
and they would send me outside
With
and
your
let me practice duck calling, which was a good way to get rid of me.
Get rid of old Buck. Yeah.
I would come in when I was too cold.
All right, let's take a break. We're rolling on Outdoors with Larry Ray with Buck Gardner, or Buckshot Gardner over there.
Yeah, man.
Ron Wong, David Beal, Hillbilly over there. We'll be right back.